This next lesson is wave hands like clouds. Wave hands like clouds continues on from the 5 punches sequence in the 26 section routine. So after the 5 punches, the left hand comes in from a cross hook. The right hip drops back, right thigh lines up with the right foot. The left foot comes in, feet parallel, approximately hip distance apart. The left hand opens, and the right palm is relaxed by the dantian. Drop the left hip back, lining up the left thigh with the left foot. Twist the waist, drop the shoulder, drop the elbow. The left hand drops down, the right arm floats up until the right palm is at approximately eye level. Left palm down, step out to the right with the right foot. Feet parallel. The right hip drops back, the left hip goes forward. Twist your waist, rotate the right forearm, rotate the left forearm. The right elbow drops, the left hand floats up, the left foot steps in. That's 1. After the 5 punches sequence, cast fist and 5 punches, cross hook, feet parallel, about hip distance apart, the left hand opens. So the left hand comes across after the hook and the hand floats up just above head level. Shoulder down, elbow dropping. Right hip goes forward, twist the waist, drop the left elbow, the right hand floats up. The right foot steps out, feet parallel. Right hand eye level, left palm down. Drop the right hip back. The left hip goes forward. Twist the waist. Rotate the forearms. And step in. Cloud hands 1. Drop the left hip back. Twist the waist. Turn the forearms. The right foot steps out. Change the hands. Right hip drops back, left hip goes forward, twist the waist, rotate the forearms, step in. That's 2. Left hip drops back, right hip goes forward, twist the waist, rotate the forearms, change the hands and step. Right hand eye level, left palm down. Drop the right hip back, the left hip goes forward, twist the waist, rotate the forearms. Drop the elbow, left hand floats up to eye level. And now back to the other direction. Left hip drops back, the right hip goes forward, twist the waist, rotate the forearms, change the hands as the foot comes in. Cloud hands 1. Wave hands like clouds is, in Chinese is often called Shou, which transliterates as cloud hands. The English translation is usually wave hands like clouds. And I prefer this translation because it begs us to consider exactly how it is that clouds wave. Now I, being often easily distracted, have spent a lot of time watching how clouds move, and I find that in my observation they don't typically wave like this, or like this, or like this, or like this. And they do sometimes wave like this, which I suppose might lead some people with an imprecise understanding of the butterfly effect and meteorology to attribute the formation of tornadoes to previous whirlwind tours by the royal members of the House of Windsor. But that would be a bit of a stretch. Where was I? Oh yes, easily distracted. Cloud hands, wave hands like clouds. The clouds tend to move in a couple of different ways that I've noticed, primarily spending time in the mountains. There are a lot of subtle variations, but generally speaking, clouds are either a fairly consistent shape for short periods of time that is moved by the wind. So you see this mass of vapor cloud just being carried by the wind, and it subtly changes shape a little bit as it goes, but generally speaking it's this one big fluffy cloud that moves. The other thing that you'll see, and you see this a lot often in the mountains, is that clouds will appear to move, but if you watch them carefully, you realize they are not actually going anywhere. There will be clouds that will hang over the mountain ridge, and they will appear to move, but if you watch them over time, you'll find that really the cloud stays still, but the vapor moves. So it appears as though the wind is moving the clouds, but if you watch them, you'll see the clouds are actually just there doing this, and vapor comes into the cloud and then disappears from the cloud. So the cloud is constantly forming and emptying at the same time. It's like there's this vessel where the moisture comes in, condenses, and then evaporates out the other side. And both of these types of movement happen in this section, in wave hands like clouds. When we do the transition from one leg to the other, when our weight is transferring from the right leg to the left leg to the other side, the hands actually don't do anything. They just sit there, relax, empty, relaxed and like a vapor, like a cloud. So relaxed that it's almost like there's no physical matter in them. If you find the proper alignment and the most effective structure, you'll find that the arms really hardly have to do it. There is no effort required. And the less effort, the better, the closer you are to doing it correctly. So it's a continuous progression, learning new ways to relax different sets of muscles and so on. And reprogramming the DNA to develop structures in the body that will support the arm without effort. So rather than using tight little muscles, it becomes more about tendon and fascia and connective tissue and aligning subtle things to redirect the shape of the arm into position, rather than just thinking about a single shoulder muscle lifting the arm up like a lever or like a crane or something. Instead, it changes shape like a cloud. So the hand comes into this position, and then the weight carries the arm, the wind carries the cloud. And then when your weight is completely on one side, that's when the arm starts to change shape. Because as the foot comes in or goes out, when one foot is in the air in transition, that is when the hands change shape. We don't want to think too much about this hand goes down, this hand comes up. If you do that, then it'll be all about the shoulders and the hinges and muscle joint, muscle joint. But instead, we want to feel it as one contiguous structure. So it seems to be a very complicated movement for people to wrap their heads around, partly because of the timing of the footwork. But if you break it down to just this, the hands are changing shape. One floats up to eye level, the other one drops, and the hands are just moving like this. Then you get the basic choreography. And then you add the turning. So when the right hand is up, you are turning to the right. And when the left hand is up, you are turning to the left. So the right hand floats up to eye level, goes to the right, then the left hand floats up to eye level, and goes to the left, right hand, and so on. This gets the basic choreography. It also tricks people into thinking that your arms are actually doing something. So we learn this and then we have to unlearn it. But go to the left, and as the left hand goes to the left, the right foot steps in. That's when you change the hands. And then the right hand goes to the right, and then as the hands are changing to the right, the left foot steps out. And then the left hand goes to the left, the right foot steps in, the left hand drops. So this is a basic way of learning the simple choreography. So the hand moves in this direction, the foot moves in this direction. And again to this side, the left hand goes in this direction, the right foot comes in from the other side. This way you never actually see your feet move. Whenever a foot moves, you are looking in the opposite direction. It should be out of your peripheral vision. So unless you have eyes like a fish. So from here, if you do, send me a video. That would be really cool to see. Anyway, the left hand goes down, the right hand floats up, the right foot steps out. If I were looking in this direction and stepping, I would be falling into this. My left foot would be pronating. I would have very poor balance and I wouldn't be able to hold that position. With Tai Chi, at any point, you want to be able to hold on to that position. You want to be able to stop at any point and go backwards. So, or change direction, change into any direction. When people lift the foot, they tend to do it as if they're going to try to shorten their leg. And this is quite counterproductive and impossible. So from here, when the left hand goes to the side, the tendency is for people to pick their foot up and lift their hip, lift the whole right side of the body to do that, to lift their foot up. But we have this wonderful adaptation in our body. It's called joints. For instance, we have a hip joint, which does this and moves in all directions. And we have a knee joint, which does this, and we have ankles and so on. So by trying to lift the leg, we're ignoring all of those joints. We're just trying to use this one on the other side instead. In fact, the pelvis should remain level when we do this step. And when we do it, if we're going to the left hip drops back and the left thigh lines up with the left foot. This puts us in a solid position to go into an empty stance, a one-legged stance, a bow stance, a drop stance. We can go anywhere as soon as this leg is full, as soon as all of the weight is on this leg. We now have the ability to change direction very easily. So when we come to this side, you can think about moving the foot, the right foot forward instead of picking it up. Think about moving it forward, because when you bend the hip joint, let the knee go forward. As it goes forward, that helps you to twist your waist and maintain your balance. So now the leg is out there. Now bring the foot in and put it down again. Okay? And when you step out, it's the same thing. You raise the knee forward, then you extend it, it ends up at the side, and then come back to the center again. When you get to the cast fist, push down, up, back fist, hammer, cross, hook. Open the left hand. The left hand drops. The right knee goes forward and to the side. The right hand goes to the right and drops as the left knee comes forward and in. Left hand goes to the left. The right knee goes forward and to the side. Right hand goes to the right. The left knee goes forward and in. Left hand goes to the left, the right knee goes forward and steps to the side. And that's cloud hands 3 times to the right. Now the left hand goes to the left and drops as the right knee goes forward. If you don't know how many cloud hands you've done, you think you're close, do one more. You can never do too many cloud hands unless you're close to a cliff or something. So, that's the basic idea, the basic footwork. Now there are details about the hand movement that will be very useful. For instance, you don't use your shoulder to lift your arm.